Get ready to sink your teeth into a shocking truth. You've probably heard the buzz about great whites, and they're definitely making waves everywhere. But when you're at your local zoo or aquarium, you'd think these majestic creatures would be front and center, right? Unfortunately, more often than not, that's not exactly what you'll find. Get ready to dive into one of the most jaw-dropping tales in aquarium history. While it's no surprise sharks have been showcased in glass tanks, their time in captivity has often been cut short, like a devastating headline, "Great White Shark Dies After Capture." The first ever attempt was back in the mid-1950s at Marineland of the Pacific, a California oceanarium that drew in tourists by the boatload. Can you believe this majestic creature didn't even make it past day one? But sadly, its passing was just the beginning of an all-too-familiar pattern. Fast forward to the 70s, 80s, and 90s, when SeaWorld gave captive shark displays a shot, unfortunately. Every single time they ended with a shark either meeting its demise or being set free back into the ocean within just weeks. This string of unsuccessful attempts really took the wind out of their sails, and by the early 2000s, only Monterey Bay Aquarium was willing to give it another go, keeping a great white captive for over 6 whole months in 2004 before releasing it back into its natural habitat. Talk about an exception that proved the rule. But here's the deal, you see, great whites just don't thrive when they're confined to aquariums, and we'll explore why next. Let's dive deeper, literally. One jaw-dropping reason why great whites are super picky eaters is because they're wired to only chow down on fresh flesh when their energy levels are maxed out, and even then, it's a live catch or nothing. That's extreme self-sufficiency right there. But what if we tried to give in to their exacting appetite? Well, buckle up, it's not as simple as just hooking them up with some sushi. Let's get real, creating an epic shark tank isn't for the faint of heart or wallet. Not only is it a logistical nightmare, but consider this: bringing in live animals could spark major controversy due to animal rights concerns and damage your brand's reputation big time. And even if you try to bypass that by offering a dead fish snack, guess what? Great whites are notoriously picky eaters and would likely give the bait the cold fin. It just won't cut it. Now, let's dive into why keeping great whites in captivity isn't just costly, but also a major PR risk. Serving them live food can be super pricey, and trust us, you don't want the bad press that comes with it. But what really matters is understanding these incredible creatures on their own terms. Let's shift our focus to learning more about what makes great whites, well, great. So, when we imagine a marine beast's personality, aggression is probably the first word that comes to mind, and you wouldn't be entirely off track. But here's the kicker: being in captivity actually makes these sharks even more agitated, pushing them towards fury. We've seen instances where they've smashed into their glass tanks, causing costly damages. And it gets worse. Their hunger and anger instincts can lead to devastating outcomes for their tank mates. Talk about a heavy price tag for tank repairs. Here's the deal: let's explore if a one-of-a-kind, solo tank for this incredible shark could be the answer. But hold up, think about it: building such an enormous tank, stretching miles just for one animal, wouldn't make financial sense and isn't even possible. Moreover, did you know that great whites are super active swimmers? They can only extract oxygen by continuously moving forward at breakneck speeds to draw in water through their gills. So, picture this: a massive tank big enough for our 6-meter shark friend to swim around and breathe. It's mind-boggling. Get this, one great white named Nicole set a mind-blowing record by traveling over 400 miles from Africa to Australia and back within just 9 months. That's some serious mileage right there. It's clear these ocean giants are meant to roam free across vast waters. It's their natural habitat, and trying to contain them in smaller spaces wouldn't be a good idea for anyone involved. So now let's dive into the question: can we possibly replicate the enormous bodies of water that make great whites feel so at home? Let's dive back into our brainstorming session, literally. We've got 2 potential showstoppers to consider, but both have major drawbacks. First up, housing a shark in a massive tank might not be as thrilling for our audience as we thought. Imagine trying to spot that shark amidst the waves. It'd be a real challenge even with a map. It's not exactly what we'd call an edge of your seat experience. So, what if we switched gears? This next idea is all about putting our shark through a sensory overload, literally. We're thinking of using the tank as a giant electric maze. With its incredible electroreception, the shark would be bombarded by signals from the glass walls and floor. But will it be enough to keep this apex predator on its toes? Let's find out. Here's the thing: sharks like great whites have an incredible superpower called electroreception. They can sense even the slightest ocean vibes. But imagine being overwhelmed by a non-stop noise festival of glass walls and electronic gadgets. That's what a shark in a tank would experience. It'd be like trying to chill in a city with never-ending construction. The shark gets confused, crashes into the walls, or just zones out, and trust us, it won't end well. A hurt shark, either physically or mentally, can't last long, it's that simple. And you know what? Capturing great whites isn't exactly a walk in the park. Their grandeur demands respect. But wait, we're not talking about just any regular catch here. We're diving into the extreme world of catching a massive shark. The biggest one in the sea, to be exact. And let's get real. Even if you manage to reel this beast in, getting it from the ocean to your aquarium is no cakewalk either. You'll need an industrial-sized transfer tank that can keep up with the shark's power and provide a safe journey to its new home. Now, let's dive into the harsh reality of keeping these majestic creatures at home. It's a high-stakes endeavor. Imagine having to provide the perfect environment with just the right mix of nutrients and conditions, while also dealing with a constant risk factor for your shark's well-being. Did you know that many believe sharks in captivity sink into depression due to their tank being a far cry from their natural habitats? With their wild roots in salt water, creating an aquarium that mirrors those conditions is crucial. However, striking the ideal balance proves tricky and often results in our finned friends falling ill or worse. But let's keep our fingers crossed, it doesn't have to be this way. The great whites are indeed facing some big challenges, not just because they're apex predators, but also due to health issues and erratic behavior around tank mates when kept in captivity. If you're itching for a close-up encounter with these ocean legends without turning into shark bait yourself, then Gansby in South Africa's Western Cape is where you need to be. The 15-minute boat ride will set you up with an astonishing 99.5% chance of spotting great whites, living their best lives in their natural element. A truly unforgettable experience for any thrill seeker or marine life enthusiast. Get ready to sink your teeth into this. We want to know, would you rather spot a majestic great white shark roaming free in its natural habitat, or catch a glimpse of it thriving in a well-structured aquarium environment? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. Let's dive into this fascinating debate together.